We're going to keep things moving right along, ladies and gentlemen. Put your paws together one more time for Jacob Henegan!
All right, Brighton, enough fucking around. You're being attacked by a shark. What do you do?
Hit it on the nose.
Hit it on the nose, correct. It's so good to be in a coastal town for once. I saw the ocean today for the first time in months. I've been living in London. The first time I asked that question in London, 5 different people in the audience said run. Couldn't be more wrong. But no, you guys are savvy, you know your maritime self-defense. It's gonna be a good set. But I've been thinking about why we punch sharks, right? Because I don't know if you guys have ever tried punching underwater. It's quite slow and ineffective. And sharks are meant to be the deadliest fish that there is. So I've been thinking, why does that work? And I've come to the conclusion it's a psychological attack. Because when's the last time you guys saw a punching fish? It's a land-based attack. Sharks don't know what it is. Like, they're stunned. Not physically, they're bewildered. It's like if you got in a fight and instead of like punching you or kicking you, someone just showed you a new color you didn't know existed. And that color fucking hurts. Like I hate to get up here first thing, play Shark's advocate, but like, we've got to think about it from his perspective. He's gonna be shaking, he's gonna be talking to his friend, he's gonna be like, oh, they have to swim while they talk, like an Aaron Sorkin swim and talk, because if they stand still and talk, they die. Crazy day today. Saw this new kind of fish, and I was like, should probably go eat him. His friend swims different. Oh yeah? So you ate him? Nah, he attacked me. Bite or sting, you know, the 2 options. No man, this was something else. What, some kind of electric eel? Nah. How do I even explain this? You know, bump into rock? Like you're swimming, you bump into a rock, and it was like that, but much faster. And on purpose. This fish, right? It was like he was the rock. It was Dwayne Johnson? No. And also, we don't know what punching is. How could we possibly know the name of a professional wrestler? Right, that's like half that guy's job. I don't even think we're real. Who created us? Are we just some... Sorry, sometimes the sharks gain self-awareness and I have to cut the joke off early. That one really got away from me tonight. Hey guys, I'm Jacob. Did not introduce myself earlier. I'm from Australia, hence the shark obsession and weird voice. I know I don't really sound Australian, but we're not going to get into it. I moved to London in December, so relatively new. And it meant that I went to a New Year's party where I knew nobody. So I was chatting to a bunch of strangers on New Year's Eve, and one of them was like, oh, you're from Australia. I hear it's real racist over there. You guys heard this? Apparently compared to Britain, we're racist. So you know it's bad. One of the other people there, who I would not be saying this, it would be crazy for me to say this if it wasn't relevant, was a black South African man, said, do you think the reason it's so racist in Australia is because all the racist whites moved from South Africa to Australia when apartheid ended? And I was like, oh, good question. We moved from South Africa in like 99. And then, before I could finish that sentence and, you know, make a point, someone ran into the room and said, 10, 9, yeah. You guys ever had an awkward moment last 2 calendar years? Because I have. And like, it's not just like after the countdown, you know, everyone's kissing, not me, not the vibe there. There's Auld Lang Syne. Like, it was a good like half hour before we could actually address the elephant in the room. And just to be clear to you guys, I don't think that's why we moved. I don't think we moved for racist reasons. Like, my parents aren't perfect, but like, they were on the right side of that issue. Like, they regularly they met at an anti-apartheid protest. My dad smuggled banned books in. My mom was questioned by the secret police for organizing anti-apartheid rallies. Like, oh, firmly on the right side of history there. But I didn't want to like run up to this guy. And part of me was like, I think we're the good kind. Feels a bit protest too much. Not me. Me protest too much. Not my parents. I think they protested the right amount. If anything, they could have protested more. But yeah, luckily, half an hour later, ran into each other in the kitchen, and before I could put my foot in my mouth, he was just like, I don't think you're racist, by the way. And I was like, wow, my New Year's wish came true. So quickly. Any of you guys ever made a New Year's wish? It's not a thing. And yet it's my most reliable punchline. Makes you think. Why does that work? You've never heard of it. You're like, yep, sounds like it sounds like a thing though, right? A New Year's wish. It's almost real. All right, doesn't matter. Before I did this, I used to work in tech. I used to work at Google. If you've heard of it, the evil tech company. They say don't be evil, but you know, no one else has to say that. But I found, I was a software engineer, but I found I'm socially awkward in a way that's quite incompatible with other software engineers. I'll give you an example. My first week there, I was in line for food because they do this cool perk where they feed you, they give you free food and water and coffee and whatever, so that you never leave and never stop working. And I was in line and I was like, oh, I was about to become prop comedy, don't let it blow your mind. I was like, oh, free water? Don't mind if I do. And then I kept walking and I was like, oh, free soft drink? I'll grab a can of Coke, grab it, took a sip. And then I needed to pick up a plate and I was running out of hands, much like I am right now. So I did this, just like, popping like that, right? And I was talking to the guy behind me, Alex Donaldson is his name. I was talking to Alex Donaldson, and he was like telling me about this cool new JavaScript framework he was using, and I was like, wow, crazy. No injection? But this can was open. So I just spilled 90% of a can of Coke all over myself. And Alex just stopped talking and just stared through the shirt and into my soul, unblinkingly. So I did what most of you would have done in this situation, I presume. I tried this move, I said, whoops. And Brighton, this man was whoops-proof. It did not work at all. He, unblinking, stared even deeper into me. So I was like, okay, I gotta escalate. I'll break the tension with a joke. I said, this is awkward. One of us is gonna have to go change. Me, I'm the one who's gonna have to go change. And what he did next sent me just right to the shadow realm. He rotated his body 11 degrees, just like this much, which communicated to the room that he was still in the line, but communicated to me that he was no longer in the conversation. As a coda to that story, when it happened, I was crushed, so I was like, there might be comedy in that. So I got out my Google Doc, because I'm loyal, and I got my Google Doc called List of Jokes, and that was the only significant interaction I'd ever had with Alex Donaldson, and it didn't feel like the beginning of a beautiful friendship. So I just wrote Alex Donaldson on my list, right? Which is fine, just a reminder of the joke. And then 3 months later, he got transferred into my team as my manager. And then one of my colleagues was like, hey Jacob, you're trying stand-up. Tell us one of your jokes. And I was like, oh, what's a good one for work? And I, on my computer, just opened up the document, and my manager looked over my shoulder and saw his own name on a document called List of Jokes. And I just looked up at him and said, whoops. And now I do not work there anymore. It was a mutual decision. I do this now. My name's Jacob Henegan. If you liked me, I'm doing a show, or even if you hated me, no matter what, I'm going to do the show. You can't stop me. I'm doing a show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 9:15. I'm presuming it's free, so I don't know, come along if you want.